Hello, hello, Cancer. It's your turn for your love reading for the month of October. Hope you all are doing well. Do keep in mind that this is a general reading, so it may not apply to all of you Cancers, just for the few that feel like they resonate with the storylines and the reading. So don't force anything or push anything into the reading if it doesn't feel like it resonates, because I know how that feels like when I watch some readings on tarot and readings. Some of them, we want to force it in some aspects because it's like, is that what's really happening? But we have to be careful. Like, some messages may not apply to our situation. Some may, it just depends. Also depends on the reader too. So anyways, keep that in mind. And also too, at the end of the month on Halloween, Mercury is going retrograde in Scorpio, and then we're gonna head into Scorpio season after Libra. So do keep in mind that a lot of changes could happen. I don't think necessarily bad. Mercury always seems to, I'm not saying always, but I'm trying to be careful when I say it. Mercury has a way of putting things on delay, like whether it's technical issues, whether it's things in general. It could be communication with some of you when it comes to dealing with people. I feel like as a Cancer, I can feel energies coming in before they come. So I feel like in some aspects I've been feeling like that, like some things aren't clear as they should be, especially when it comes to other significant relationships we get ourselves into, or maybe we feel vulnerable to talk to people when people aren't really giving us the time of day. I've been feeling like a lot of that energy. I also been feeling like a lot of energies when it comes to relationships. Cancers are very relationship, people oriented. So one thing I've been noticing too about my energy and stuff is a lot of these outside relationships, are similar to our own belief system. Like we mirror people. A lot of times we see people that are similar to us because it's what we're reflecting on in the inside. So do be careful of that, Cancers. It's easy to get in these cycles of caring about friends or caring about talking to people, but nobody wants to talk. So, I know we've all been through that similar times. It's difficult because we find these connections we really connect with on a soul level, but sometimes people don't really want to open up. Because it's like, for example, there's this one friend I've really gotten close to in a very short period of time. But I feel like here recently I've tried messaging them and they have yet to reply. And I don't know if it's necessarily they don't want to communicate about how they're feeling, because I feel like there's things they want to talk about. Maybe they feel it with me too. I don't know. I feel like they want to talk about things, but they're not. And I don't know if that's my energy exactly, but their energy. I don't know. It has nothing to do with me. It's the other person. I feel like that there's this need to correspond with people. I feel like Cancers, but I think there's a need to get out of that and focus on what you need to focus. Work, if it's work. Relationship, if it's work. It's easy to get in these cycles, whether we're with someone or not, just to generally care about people. But I feel like the more energy we focus on something that's not really helping us, it's it's pissing us off. Not getting the response we want, not getting the maybe attention we want, not getting certain things that we maybe are putting too high expectation on people. Anyways, let's get into your reading. I shuffled these pretty much enough. Alright, so let's see what's going on for Cancer's love life. Whether you're in a relationship, single, married, in one, oh wait, 3. one-night stand in a committed relationship with other people. It doesn't really matter. Any of these messages could apply at any time in your life. So I don't always say that. I'm just thinking of that. Yeah, so any of these messages could come up anytime. So it's not a specific time, really, but basically for October. So I don't know. Sometimes things come up. Kind of got allergies today, so I do apologize for if I sound like I'm plugged up or something. But yeah, like I was saying, Cancers, I feel like a lot of people aren't receptive to us like we want them to. And I don't know if that's the energies people are sending out or what. It's like we want friendships, we want commitments, we want people to really take us seriously. But I think a lot of people aren't really receptive to us for some reason right now. And I don't know if that's similar to some people or not. I don't know. I really don't know. It's really getting under my skin because 2 times I communicated with this one person. No names in general. And it's a really good friend of mine. And I live nearby them. You know, they're in view shot, and it's like I really feel like a strong connection. It's not one of those connections like, you know, sexually, romantically. I mean, they do set off that intense energy, but that's just them as a person, I feel like, and it's just, there is attraction. It's just mainly strong energy I'm feeling with them. You know, nothing like I want to get with them or anything. Of course not. I'm with my boyfriend. It's just, I'm learning my emotions with people. Like, I'm really tuned in with my emotions with people. It's not them. It's just, I'm starting to understand my energy is a universal love for people in general. And it's easy to get attached to people. It's easy to find people attractive. So I think that's something I'm personally learning. It's just hard when you want a connection with someone, but then the other person isn't reciprocated. You know, they're not really giving what you are expecting. I think it's just putting down the walls, the blockages to love, and opening up our heart space, whether we're in a committed relationship or not, or just wanting a connection in general. And I think, too, for us being a Cancer, we want to know that people get us. And I feel like it frustrates us when people don't really get us. It's like, what are we making a mistake on? Is it us? It's like, why is the person playing on our heartstrings? And that's what I feel like personally. Like, recently, 2 different times I've talked with this person. And every time I talk to them, there's this strong connection. Like, they were open and receptive to wanting to open up to me. And then it wasn't really the first time they opened up with me. It was the second time, like recently. And when they opened up with me, I could really feel into their energy. And I felt like they were crushing on me. Like, I could feel that kind of stuff. I don't know if it's mutual or what, but I felt more on their end. It just annoyed me because I started not necessarily getting into, like, falling for them necessarily, but, like, a strong attraction toward them. And, like, I've discussed this kind of stuff over and over with my boyfriend. And there's just, you know, I can't really express it the way I would like to, but it's really hard when I find people attractive. And it just worries me because I'm like, is this right to have, you know, these feelings towards people that I don't want to get in a relationship? And it doesn't matter what gender they are either. It's just, why am I so attracted to, like, a lot of people? But this one friend, there was a strong connection with them, like the vibe and everything. But I felt like they were coming at me, like, really strong. Like, they're trying to get a message across. And I don't know if any of you have been through that here recently, but I have had that experience with someone where I can feel them on a soul level, like it's so strong, like it freaks me out. And there was another friend that I finally spoke up about, how I've been feeling. And once I opened up and be vulnerable, the fears and the anxiety went away, but it still frustrates about this other person because this one person isn't communicating. Like I send them a few messages to re-clarify, because you know how you don't say everything to someone directly, like when you have that encounter with people, but then at the end of it you're like, oh, I forgot to clarify exactly what I'm saying. Like you want to make sure it's on pinpoint. And so when I try to speak to them and clarify what was really going on, and like I've told them, I have a strong connection, but they don't know that. I mean, I'm sure they can sense it, but I sent that in a text. Like, I feel like they were in a past life a strong soulmate connection. And soulmates could be anybody. It's not necessarily love, like you want to be with someone, connection, soul group, soul family, soul tribe, or just you had some kind of interaction with them in the past. That's how you feel like I've known them before. But anyways, this person, I felt like it's been such a hard battle because it's kind of conflicting. Because they're in a relationship, I'm in a relationship, so I don't want to get too attached. I don't want to get too involved. But there's this connection, this attraction, this magnetic pull towards them. And it freaks me out because it's like it doesn't feel right to be attracted to someone outside of the relationship. And I think a lot of it is my own fears, my own issues of the past, because I felt like in the past when I became vulnerable and open, that's when, I cheated. And that's my biggest issue. And I feel like it's moving past that. And I think that's one of the reasons why they came into my life and why people have been coming into my life, is to teach me these very valuable lessons that it's okay to be open and vulnerable with someone when you've made a mistake, or you've been in these relationships that are uncomfortable, or maybe you've suffered from abuse, or someone betrayed you in some way, or someone's done you wrong, or you've had a bad past and you made past mistakes in some dynamic or form. And I think it's getting past the throat chakra, speaking our core truth. And I think that's been the struggle, is like, how are you supposed to be open and vulnerable with someone, but yet not coming too strong, but simply speaking your truth in a sense and in a way that makes sense to the other person, and they're receiving it the right way without taking it to the extreme, like you just want to get in their pants or you just want to get with them. It's more about a connection with people. And it's like, I think a lot of us are going through different journeys as a Cancer. Everyone has their own struggles, but I think, ultimately, I think these relationship things are coming up for us Cancers to help us in the long run, whether it's trust issues, whether it's old way of thinking are dying within our relationships, and we've upgraded so much. But I feel like for October, it's gonna help us. It's gonna honestly help us move forward. I feel like there may be truth spoken, maybe with this person that I've been wanting for them to come towards me, and I've been trying to do everything I can to personally stay focused, not get caught up in the drama of life, try to just go on with my life. But at the same time, I feel like October, this person's gonna come back and try to talk to me, and truths are gonna be spoken, I feel like, in October. So, but wherever you stand in relationship, Cancer, whether you're in a relationship, whether you're single. I feel like on a soul level, us Cancers, we're upgrading in some way. You know, we're going through a lot of changes. So do the best with these energies coming in, especially Mercury Retrograde. Try not to go overboard. Try to be kind to yourself, love yourself. Scorpio energy in general, and then I'll get to the reading, has really helped me, manage my, not necessarily self-esteem issues. It's really helped me tap into my inner goddess. And I think that's a good idea, in Scorpio season, Libra as well. Tap into your inner goddess, whether you're a male or female. It doesn't matter on gender, but this is a great time for reflection on our relationships as well as ourselves, inner work. We've been doing a lot of cleaning, we've been doing a lot of purging, whether it's relationships. One of the life lessons for us this year that we've had to go through was people in general. Who do we want in our life? Who do we want to associate with? Who do we want to be friends with in a relationship? Who do we want in a relationship? What do we want? What are we willing to tolerate? What's not really working for us anymore? But a lot of changes I see for us Cancers. But I feel like I really am hopeful that this month, and I do feel like this energy is going to help us tap into that goddess form or God form to really help us move forward in life. Alright, let's get into the reading. I've really spent enough talking. I try not to talk too much, but I don't know, I just want to share things. Alright, I had to stop it for a minute so I can sneeze my head off. Alright, Cancer. So you have the Queen of Swords, and this other person you're dealing with has the Three of Swords. Ooh, three swords. Alright, and this was at the bottom of the deck. So a lot of purging, a lot of releasing this month. I think it's not so much, it's been the journey we've been going through. Cancer, I feel like you're in a good place in your relationship. You really are. You're in your growthy aspect of form of your relationship. Some of you could be dealing with a Taurus or an air sign, I'm seeing. Now, whether it's this Taurus energy, whether it's this Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, either or, Sagittarius as well, Leo, Scorpio, there's been a lot of work. There's been a lot of clearing in this relationship in general. I think it has to do with your truth. A lot of truth has been coming up for you, like speaking your truth within the relationship, creating this sacred place for the other person to be true with themselves. And I feel like a lot of you Cancers have done that with a lot of your relationships, is getting people out of this illusion of themselves, maybe self-denial, maybe of guilt. And you work through these conflicts with people. And you want people to speak their truth. It's just, for the last few months, I've been feeling a lot of throat chakra issues. And I think that's getting cleared up this month. Like, finally, you can be free of it. It's just hard with the anxieties. And I feel like if you haven't done it already, a lot of you need to get on CBD oil. I personally haven't tried it yet, but I just ordered it last night. And I think that's going to help a lot of the anxiety that a lot of us may be feeling on a soul level. We really need to start eating correctly. We really need to start getting into the Queen of Swords energy. We're Cancers, for God's sake, but I feel like we give too much power away to people. So also with Uranus in Taurus, Uranus in Aquarius, this could be a symbol of that in the relationship. we need to take on these energies as a way to get through these blockages. It could be hard. Now, some of you, I feel like whoever you're dealing with is going through an awakening. Because usually when you look at this, it looks like heartbreak. But I feel like you have awoken them, Cancer. Whether it's this Taurus, whether it's this Libra or Aquarius or Gemini, you have awoken them. Whether they want to admit it or not, it's the truth. I feel like you've undergo a lot of healing and mastery, self-discovery of this relationship, of your emotions, of how to speak, of how not to speak. I think it's pushing this person to move forward in a direction. Because a lot of us, I feel like we've gone through the struggle with people. We're starting to get in alignment. We're starting to speak up. We're starting to clear the blockages to love, to fully love, like Libra energy and Aquarius. We're taking on these energies of love and speaking authentically in love. So I feel like with the Empress as the theme of what's going on in the relationship, it's more about universal love, as it is waking people to the truth. And the thing is, you don't have to force the truth on someone. You just have to simply show up. And I feel like that's what the energy's coming up for you in your relationship, Cancer. The energy that I'm getting is, you don't have to force anyone to speak their truth if they're not willing to speak. Things will just be. Things will just progress the way they need to by you showing up. So I think the Queen of Swords here is indicating, Cancer, you need to show up. Just simply show up. Your presence, whether you have to speak it, whether you have to not necessarily show it off, prove it, just be simply in your truth. Stand your ground, and it will wake this person up even more. And they can get out of this heartbreak energy. So I'm sending them all the love, all the blessings to get out of this energy that they're in, whether it's heartbreak, and to awaken to truth. Alright. I'm trying to hurry up on these readings because there's only like 35-20 minutes to get back at these. Alright. So we're walking away from a time that is toxic to us. We're getting out of this lack mentality, Cancers, in our relationship, in our finances. We're trying to push forward. We're trying to acknowledge that we are the catalyst to our relationships. If we create this place in our mind of lack, we're going to create lack in it. Whether that's letting go of an idea that's toxic behaviors. You could be an addict. You could be in some form an addict to something that's not really healthy, that you need to walk away from, that's maybe killing your relationship. But I feel like Temperance is here to tell us to really step up our game, that we're here to step up our game. We're here to be the catalyst for positivity, to get people back in alignment with their higher self, their divinity within themselves. Alright, so we need to carry on the strength this month, I feel like, especially with the Moon card. Things could be brought to our attention. We may want to close up, but I feel like it's going to help. It's mainly the other person, I feel like. The strength within ourselves when things are not okay. And be willing to accept them for what they are, whether it's good or bad news. Alright, so I feel like a lot of transformation is coming for us this month. Some more healing, some more enlightenment, some more, maybe devising the truth between where do we want to go, where do we feel satisfied within ourselves. And I think it's loving ourselves. A lot of us are open to the idea of helping other people. We've got so many goals and plans, but we need to focus on bringing back those cups within ourselves of happiness, going within, doing the inner work, facing things that we don't want to face, coming into an alignment of our higher self when it comes to being empowered, not worrying, not doubting, being clear on our direction to move forward. All right, Cancer, I'm sending you all the love and light. I pray that whatever happens in October, we don't need to fear. We need to stay centered. I think that CBD oil is really going to help us with our moods this month. Because Scorpio can be intense, especially sexually. Like we get off on sexual urges with Scorpio season. I feel like it's very intense for us, but it's very empowering. So Libra and Scorpio, it's very empowering. So anyways, bless you all. Hope it's a great month, and sending you all the love and light that you need. May the angels be with you. Bye-bye.